Hello everyone, welcome back to your favorite quizzing channel Whiz. You're here with your host master Priyadarshan and I'm here to ask you 5 questions for today and also to give you the interesting answers for the questions that I asked you yesterday. So without any further ado, let me start off with question number 1 for yesterday. This particular company operates in more than 180 countries and produces in more than 140 sites around the world. It was the world's largest distiller until being overtaken by China's Motai on 9th April 2017. So what is the name of this particular company? So the answer for this question is Diageo, okay, or Diago, however you pronounce it. So that was the answer for the first question. Moving on to question number 2. For yesterday, I had shown you an image, or rather a cartoonist image, and the question was, identify this journalist and commentator who was on air during the 1986 tide test between India and Australia in Chepak. So the name of this journalist and commentator is Kishore Bhimani. Now when you go back and see the image, probably you'll be able to relate. And that brings us to question number 3 for yesterday. So here it is. This location, which is in the Andes Mountains, is a symbol of the Inca Empire that was built around 1450 AD and was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983 and also was named as one of the new 7 wonders of the world in 2007. So which is this place that we are talking about? Now obviously when I'm telling you about the Inca Empire and the Andes Mountains, obviously I think most of you would have got it. The place that we are talking about is Machu Picchu, and that brings us to our penultimate question for yesterday. So here is question number 4. Parle G is the world's largest selling biscuit by volume. In 1929, it was launched as a substitute for an imported brand. So what was the name of this imported brand? Well, the answer to this question is Glaxo. So we all know about Glaxo, but we did not, very few of us would have known that Parle-G initially came in as a substitute for this. And that brings us to our last question for today. So here is question number 5. Which was the first UK national Sunday newspaper to supply a colour magazine supplement in 1962? Well, the answer for this is the Sunday Times. And that wraps up our 5 questions for yesterday. It's time to move on to the 5 questions for today. So here is question number 1. This entity once invented a rice cooker, which was a massive failure and sold less than 100 units. It quickly developed a reputation for making undercooked rice or burning the rice altogether. So which is this entity which is now a very famous brand but had such a shaky start? Moving on to question number 2, here it is. According to Skanda Purana, Lord Jagannath redeems the devotees by permitting them to partake his Mahaprasad, to have his darshan and to worship him by observing rituals and by offering of gifts. Mahaprasad is treated here as Anna Brahma. This temple kitchen has got the capacity to cook for 100,000 of devotees on a day, thus the biggest kitchen in the world. So which is this temple that we are talking about? So that was question number 2. Moving on to question number 3, here goes. Which newspaper is mentioned in the Beatles' hit single Paperback Writer? So you just need to tell me the name of the newspaper. And that brings us to question number 4. Before I ask you the question, have a good look at the image that's coming up on your screen right about now. So now that you've seen the image, here is the question. The animal is considered the most dangerous animal in Sweden. Over 100,000 are shot during the annual hunt, and about 250,000 people participate in this hunt. So which is this animal that we are talking about? Which brings us to our last question for today. So here is question number 5. Which was the first company to advertise at the Times Square in New York? So which was the first company to advertise at Times Square? You might be surprised by the answer. And that sums up our 5 questions for today. I will be back tomorrow with 5 more answers and 5 more questions. Do stay tuned in. Do not forget to leave your answers, your guesses in the comment section below. Thank you for watching the video, and please take care and a very, very good night.